Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Crimeline. I'm Kevin Hamilton.
And I'm Officer Jeff Zarnik from the Manchester Police Department Crime Prevention Division.
And this is your opportunity to earn a reward of up to $1,000 because that's what Crimeline is all about. The Crimeline programs out there in the communities and the Crimeline program you're watching right now on TV 60. We need information. Investigators like Jeff and others around the state need information. If you have anything that'll help police in some ongoing probes, give them a call. The Crimeline numbers, we're going to run them down in just a moment, will also guarantee you anonymity. And if the information that you do provide helps the investigators to the extent that they can make an arrest or an indictment, you could earn a reward of up to $1,000. Now, in Manchester, the Crimeline number is 624-4040. Also coming up at this program will have something to do with the Salem Crimeline organization. Their number is 893-6600. In Bedford, Crimeline is 472-8999. And finally, for this show anyway, in Portsmouth, 431-1199. All four of those Crimeline programs will be featured in the show, Jeff.
That's right, Kevin. In Bedford, we'll be looking at a series of daylight burglaries. In Portsmouth, the theft of a very expensive handmade quilt. In Salem, an attempted armed robbery at a jewelry store. And in Manchester, we'll be looking at a whole slew of felons.
Also coming up in the program tonight, Jeff, you'll have one of your safety tips.
That's right. We're dealing with the issue of child restraints and the child restraint law as it exists here in New Hampshire. With correct use, or with 100% use of child restraints, 56,000 injuries and 519 fatalities can be prevented each year.
So that's worth sticking around for. We hope you stay right there as Crimeline continues after this. Welcome back to Crimeline. You may recall on our last program we focused in a bit on the Rita Roy case. Thus far there has not been an arrest in this terrible, terrible murder, and Manchester Police is still looking for any help that you may be able to provide. The special Manchester Crimeline number is 624-4040. Manchester Crimeline has already posted its maximum $1,000 reward, and others in the community have come up with almost another $2,000. The max reward now has almost reached $3,000, and we can use your help. Now tonight in the program we will be going to Bedford, Portsmouth, and Salem. The telephone numbers on your screen. Jot them down. You are guaranteed anonymity, and you could earn a reward. First up, off the police docket, is the burglary in Bedford.
Hi, I'm Officer Andrew Jackman of the Bedford Police Department. Here's a rundown of the crimes that have occurred in Bedford in the last month. Here at Bedford Motors, located on South River Road, was the scene of a stolen motor vehicle taken on May 20th. The vehicle is a black Chrysler New Yorker with gray leather interior and a Bedford Motors sticker in the rear window. If you have any information about this crime, call Bedford Crimeline at 472-8999. Between May 29th, 9 o'clock in the evening, and May 30th, 7 o'clock in the morning, here at Euro Cleaners, an unknown suspect threw rocks through the windows. A motorist whose car had broken down here at Gage Road and Wentworth Drive returned the following morning only to find that the rear spoiler had been stolen from his vehicle. This crime occurred between 9 p.m. on the 19th of May and 7 a.m. on the 20th of May. If you have any information about this crime, call Bedford Crimeline at 472-8999. Number 1 Barrington Drive was the scene of a daylight burglary on May 23rd. Taken in the burglary was an Emerson VCR, a Magnavox TV, a Panasonic video camera, 2 Quasar TVs, a Sears TV, and a 35mm camera and lens. An estimated total value of $2,500. Also, there was a blue pickup truck observed in the yard the day of the burglary at about 3:30 in the afternoon. If you have any information about this crime, call Bedford Crimeline at 472-8999. On the next day, 290 Wallace Road was subjected to burglars. The residents came home and found their rear slider door had been smashed open. Taken in the burglary was a TV and a VCR, the only 2 items missing. Observed in the driveway at approximately noontime was an older modeled car, light in color, with a female driver leaving the driveway at this time. Burglaries are plaguing the town of Bedford. 56 North Amherst Road was burglarized on May 21st between 12:15 and 2:15 p.m. taken in the burglary was a CD player, the only item taken. Entrance was gained by forcing a rear door open. If you have any information about this crime, call Bedford Crime Line at 472-8999. The following people were wanted by the Bedford Police Department. A Michael Ryan, last known address, River Road, Billerica, Mass., wanted for theft by unauthorized taking. Henry L. Dion, his date of birth is 09/05/45. He's wanted for issuing bad checks, Class A felony. Last known address, 27 Westminster Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. He's a white male, 5'11", 165 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He has a 4-inch scar on his right jaw.
I'm Dreddie LaChance of Salem Crime Line, Salem, New Hampshire. On Friday, May 3rd, 1991, we had an attempted armed robbery at Sesser Jewelers on the Breckenridge Mall, North Broadway in Salem. As Mr. Sesser opened the rear door to his jewelry store, 2 male subjects were running towards him. One of the male subjects was wearing a ski mask and carrying a gun. Mr. Sesser managed to close the rear door as the 2 male subjects fled the area in a white Jeep Cherokee. They left the Breckenridge Mall, traveling northbound on Route 28 onto 111 eastbound. The 2 male subjects, one wearing a black jacket, one wearing a red, swapped vehicles in front of the state shed on Route 111. They continued eastbound on Route 111 in a dark-colored Camaro-type vehicle with a turquoise patch on the driver's side. Any information relating to this incident, please call Salem Crime Line 893-6600. 2 burglaries occurred at the Salem High School, Salem, New Hampshire. In November of 1990, suspects entered an open window into the vocational wing, broke padlocks, taking $7,500 worth of tool equipment. In December of 1990, keys were stolen and suspects entered the computer room, stealing $10,000 worth of computer equipment. Although these crimes happened months ago, they are still unsolved. If you have any information, please contact Salem Crime Line.
Welcome to Portsmouth. I'm Detective Sergeant Tom Schladenhoffen for Portsmouth Crime Line. Portsmouth Crime Line was developed in 1983 as an offshoot of the Stop Seacoast Crime Committee and the Chamber of Commerce. During that period of time, Portsmouth Crime Line has fielded over 1,500 calls, solved 350 cases, and arrested 275 people. We've taken $1 million in stolen property and drugs off the street, and Portsmouth Crime Line has paid informants $25,000. Portsmouth Crime Line handles the seacoast communities including Newington, Newcastle, Greenland, Rye, Elliott, Maine, and Kittery, Maine. The telephone number is 431-1199. If you have information about any crimes committed in any of those communities mentioned, please call Portsmouth Crime Line at 431-1199. Here are a few of the cases that we'll be looking at this month for Portsmouth Crime Line. We're located on Pierce Island at the entrance of Fort Tree Island that runs along the Piscataqua River on the south side of Portsmouth. On Wednesday, May 22nd, during the early morning hours, a male in his early 50s came down to the island to look at the lights that reflect across the water from the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. He got out of his car and was walking along this grassy area when he was struck from behind and fell to the ground. When he was on the ground, he looked up and he saw 3 white males hovering over him. One of them, who had curly hair, was wielding a tire iron. He was hit a number of times with that tire iron and suffered a compound fracture of his lower right arm. After he was beaten, he was dragged into the wooded area that surrounds this island. Once he was in the area, they tore his shirt off and bound him. They requested his keys from him and took his keys and went to his car where they retrieved his wallet. The irony of this attack is that the suspects got less than $20 from the victim. They left the victim bound in the woods and fled in a vehicle that is unknown. The victim was able to break his bonds and go to a payphone where he contacted police. If you have information about this crime, call Portsmouth Crime Line at 431-1199. During the evening and into the early morning hours of June 5th and 6th, a theft happened here at the Portsmouth Wastewater Treatment Facility under construction here on Pierce Island. Suspects gained entry into the facility and took approximately $9,000 worth of construction equipment from a trailer. Some of the larger items that were taken was a Thor pavement breaker and a Flight 4-inch water pump. If you know something about this crime, contact Crimeline. We're here in historical Strawberry Bank in front of the Peacock House. Peacock House now has been converted to a storefront for quilts. On May 26th, a theft happened here when 3 individuals entered into the store, got out of sight of the clerk, and entered one of the rooms. In the rooms, they took a large quilt off the wall and passed it out the window without the clerk knowing it. The quilt that was taken was unique, and it's described as 94 inches by 110 inches with a white background with pink and blue scallop borders. It has a pink and blue giant Delilah flower on it. If you have information about the whereabouts of the quilt, please contact Crimeline at 431-1199. The Portsmouth Police are looking for information about the disappearance of a bicycle exercise bike valued at $2,000 from the Portsmouth Athletic Club located in the Malthouse Exchange on the Albany Street extension. It is believed that during the evening of May 31st, someone was locked in the building after closing hours. After all employees had left the building, it's believed that they brought the bicycle to a side door and passed it out to an awaiting vehicle. If you have information, please call Crimeline. On Friday, May 3rd at 10:45 in the evening, the Portsmouth Fire Department responded to the Ritchie Construction Company located at 105 Bartlett Street for a fire. The residents of McDonough Street reported the fire burning in the rear of the yard. They also saw 3 white males in their early 20s running from the scene. The fire consumed the entire building and the contents, costing the company approximately $2 million. If you have information about the individuals that were running from the scene or any other information about this fire, please contact Portsmouth Crimeline at 431-1199. During the year, New Hampshire attracts many people to its recreational areas, historical sites, and beaches. When you come to New Hampshire and you're visiting our beaches or recreational areas, when you bring your personal property, that property can become the target of thieves if you leave it in your car. If you're visiting a recreational area or stopping along a highway at a historical site and you leave your car for a period of time and don't secure your personal property, you're going to find that that personal property is going to be taken by thieves. As did happen on June 6th of this year at the Meadowbrook Motor Inn when a Maryland couple came up and parked their vehicle, which was towing a U-Haul trailer. They lost in a theft $20,000 worth of personal property, which included cameras, jewelry, and a number of other items of value to them. Unique items that were taken in this theft was a female pair of roller skates that were custom made in Italy. These skates are of no value to anybody else. The skates only fit that of the owner, being that they were made especially for her feet. Also, it was taken, which is of no value to the thieves, is $10,000 worth of Canadian bonds. If you have information about this theft, please contact Portsmouth Crimeline at 431-1199. We're here at the Greenland Central School, located on Post Road, where on June 9th at 2 o'clock in the morning, an act of vandalism occurred. Suspects climbed onto the roof and tore off roof vents. They threw them off the roof onto the parking lot and then proceeded to throw them through 8 windows, causing $2,000 in damage. If you have information about this or any Seacoast-related crime, call Portsmouth Crimeline at 431-1199. The following people are wanted by the Portsmouth Police Department. Judith C. Dame, also known as Judith C. Emerton, 47 years of age, last known address 30 Menden Avenue, Kittery, Maine, wanted for felony bad checks. Janet Carolyn Smith, also known as Janet Rowe, 38 years of age, unknown address, wanted for probation violations out of Maine, felony theft and forgery, also wanted for escape. She has a tattoo of a bracelet around her left wrist. Paul D. Landers, 44 years of age, unknown address, wanted for 2 counts of felony theft by deception. Ricky J. Hoser, 29 years of age, last known address Granite Post Green, Northampton, New Hampshire, wanted for 1981 receiving stolen property. Photograph of Hoser is 10 years old. He has a tattoo on his right arm and the name Dana and Patty, the date 5/31/81. He has a Harley-Davidson wing on his left arm, the initials LED on his left wrist, and a plus sign on his right index finger.
Next up on Crimeline, we'll take a look at Manchester crimes, and once again we'll focus in on the Rita Roy slaying. That Manchester crime line number 624-4040, and we'll be back after this.
Welcome back to Crimeline. This portion of the show deals with Manchester crimes which have occurred over the last few weeks. The first one we're going to deal with is a burglary which occurred here at a little bit of Texas at 25 Central Street. Entry was gained to the business via an unlocked front door. Once inside, it appears that a key was used to get into a cabinet. Once inside the cabinet, the perpetrators were able to remove a large amount of cash. The burglary occurred overnight on the 20th of June. And if you have any information concerning the burglary here at a little bit of Texas on Central Street, call Manchester Crime Line, 624-4040. On the 11th of June, in this alley here, behind 198 Merrimack Street in downtown Manchester, a robbery occurred of an elderly gentleman who was walking with his cane. He was thrown against the building at 198 Merrimack Street by a man described as being a white male in his 20s. He had strawberry blonde hair, he was wearing a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and he had a green backpack, and he was also last seen riding a mountain bike westerly from the scene of the crime. Apparently, he had taken the old man and thrown him against the building and relieved him of $280 in cash. If you have any information concerning this robbery, call the Manchester Crime Line. A robbery occurred here behind 351 Central Street on the 7th of June around 4:30 in the afternoon. The victim, a female, was walking through the alley when a subject came up to her riding a Harley-Davidson. He threw her against the wall and threatened her to rape her if she did not give up money. She subsequently released the wallet to the perpetrator, and he left riding the Harley-Davidson westerly through the alley. The suspect is described as a Puerto Rican male, 200 pounds, 6 feet tall. He had a muscular build. He was last seen wearing a pair of blue jeans, black boots, a red mesh t-shirt, and he was driving a Harley-Davidson black in color. He had a slight Spanish accent and spoke good English. 185 Bridge Street was the scene of a burglary at around 2:40 in the morning on the 13th of June. The victim was asleep in her bed when she was awoken by a subject entering through a south side window. She did not get a good description of him, and when she lit a match to see who it may be, he left the premises. The only thing that she could see was that he was wearing a t-shirt. The police officer Canine Unit tracked the subject to the area of Lowell Street, but lost him in the area. If you have any information concerning this home invasion, call the Manchester Crime Line, 624-4040. 857 Beach Street, the house you see behind me, was the scene of a residential burglary which occurred on the 14th of June, sometime during the daytime. And it's apparent that the burglars entered by slicing a screen and then making their way in through an open kitchen window. Once inside, they removed some change in addition to a large amount of items. And some of these items include a firearm, jewelry, money, and a bicycle. If you have any information concerning this residential burglary, call the Manchester Crime Line at 624-4040. Mike's Garage, located here on Cleveland Street on the west side of Manchester, was the scene of a second-degree assault on the 14th of June. What had happened was there was an elderly gentleman who had gotten out of his car to see if the establishment was open. He was looking through the windows when he was shot once in the back and once in the thigh by a high-powered BB or pellet gun. The shot came from a building they believe located east of the building, but it's not known who may have done it at this time. He checked into the hospital to treat the wounds, which did require medical attention. And finally, we would like to take this moment to remind our viewers that the Manchester Police Department Detective Division is still very much actively seeking information relative to the brutal slaying of Rita Roy, which occurred May 20th, 1991 at approximately 11 a.m. in the morning on the 4th floor level of the Center of New Hampshire parking garage. If you have any information, please contact the Manchester Crime Line, 624-4040. The following individuals are wanted as of June 24th, 1991. Bruce Alquist, unknown date of birth, last known address of 1000 East Industrial Park Drive in Manchester. He's wanted for issuing bad checks, and he's wanted by the Alton, New Hampshire Police Department. Number 2 is a Randall Fowler, date of birth 7/2/71, last known address of 199 Manchester Street in Manchester. He's wanted for burglary, and he's also wanted by the Epsom, New Hampshire Police Department. Number 3 is Kenneth Gazelle, date of birth 7/24/60. His last known address is 104 Belmont Street in Manchester. He's wanted for felony theft. Tony Ann Granice, date of birth 6/9/67, last known address of 17 Madison Street in Lynn, Massachusetts. She's wanted for forgery. Calvin Reynolds, unknown date of birth, last known address of 10 South Avenue, apartment 4, Derry, New Hampshire. He's wanted for felonious sexual assault.
We're back now on Crime Line. Perhaps many of you families are just back from a weekend outing. It's great weather. Why not take the kids out for a drive in the car? And I know as a parent myself, Jeff, that I have wrestled on many a hot day like this, on many a cold, rainy day with the car seats, but it really is worth the effort.
I know what you're talking about, Kevin. I've got 4 children of my own, and we don't leave the driveway until they're all buckled up. It reminds me of the Vincent Larry safety belt dummy commercials where they try to use a humorous vein to teach people to buckle up or not. But the viewer should know that these people are using humor to get their point across. Not buckling up or not having a child in a restraint is against the law. Recently, a Manchester man was charged with failing to have his child restrained in an automobile. This charge was filed after the man was involved in a car accident that could have killed his child. It is a law in New Hampshire that all children under the age of 12 must be restrained and properly fastened in an approved seat or safety belt. Failure to abide by this law could result in a fine of up to $500. Now, the Manchester Police Department is actively enforcing this law. Many times the excuses parents give vary from, I'm only going a couple of blocks, to the seat belt doesn't fit him, to little Johnny or Susie doesn't like it. So to stop the fussing of their child, many drivers neglect the use of the car seat or restraint. Unfortunately, many other drivers have neglected to buckle up their kids, and they paid the price. In 1989, 899 children were killed in the United States because of non-restraints. Of those, 534 were under the age of 4, and 365 were between the ages of 5 and 9. Now, there are 2 kinds of car seats, the traditional and the infant. And the infant is just that. It is geared to the newborn child till it is 6 months old. The traditional is for the newborn up to 2.5 years of age. There are 2 styles to choose from, the convenient and the 5-strap harness. The convenient style is usually a 1-snap fitting over the child, while the 5-strap harness is the same style that the Indy 500 drivers use. When the child gets older and bigger, the infant and traditional seats are too small. Now the child must be graduated to a booster seat or a car seat designed for children for ages 2 to 9. The new booster seat raises the child up and forward, and the car seat is the type with the bar in front of the child to hold them in.
Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll be back here with you next month. Good night.